Okay, so have got the safety strap on today. We're going to go out in some moderate waves, a little bit of wind. It's been gusting 25, 30 knots yesterday and it's easing off today. However, it's been up and down in the last hour, so we'll get whatever we get. But we do have some cute little waves just around the corner here, which will drive sensibly. I'm not about jumping waves in these boat tests because I generally don't think it's a good idea for you to do that if you have friends or a wife and you wanted to come boating with you again. Go ahead and do that by yourself if you wish, but that's not what this video is about. We're just going to drive sensibly and feel this Dynastream hull. That looks like another Technohull just crossing our bow. We're just going to feel the deep V twin air step into the waves, all clear of the traffic. Some of you might find it beneficial to drive on single lever in weather like this, because when you are bouncing through the waves, you don't want to accidentally over throttle the boat. I'm just cruising at 20 knots. We're just going to start feeling this hull. It's a test. It's not a race. So we're just going to feel her out. I notice, and you'll see this on the drone shots, that the tubes are quite high off the waterline at the front. They taper back and touch the water at the back of the boat. So we are getting stability from the tubes. I don't have trim tabs. I've got the engines trimmed down. I'm going to increase my speed until we find a couple of waves. We'll bounce through a few waves, and then we're going to bear away and speed up, down swell, and I'll trim up. As you should too. Clear all around. Everybody's happy. You guys happy? Everyone's got a hold on. Here are a couple of waves. So we're just going to go. Here's a steep one. And nice little landing. Soft landing. Super soft. For a short and sharp one, that was about 2 foot. And here's another one. Just hitting that at 22 knots. And we'll get the next one at 25. Just going to increase. I'm just waiting for the next one. Here we go. Honest. Okay, you definitely notice this boat's upwind capability. So I'm going to bear away now. I like having these choice of angled stairs here. I'm just going to go across the way through a little bit. And then we're going to go down, increasing my speed, trimming the engines up a little bit, just sitting on about 30 knots there. Now I've got the swell behind us. I also do this strategically, guys, when I'm filming, because we do have to get the drone shots. So if any of you are military contractors and you've got some whiz-bang drone that goes faster than mine, please do get in touch. I'd love to find out how to get hold of one, if I'm legally allowed to do so. Okay, cruising at 30 knots. I've got my total fuel consumption on the twin V8s, 300 horsepower. You can option this up to 400s. We're going to do the flat water full speed test a little bit later. I'm literally just running down these waves. I wasn't even watching my angles there, and I did that deliberately because with this tube quite high off the waterline, she has the effect of displacing the water quite efficiently, even in these sharp ones. Here's a nice one just here. Not bad. Super smooth. We'll max out at 40 knots. I'm not going to do anything more than that in here. And I think I'm just going to take the boat through a couple of turns, clear all around, banking to the left. This is a driver's boat. This is an offshore boat. This is definitely a choppy water boat. Go over that one, cut and right. I feel safe and secure. The boat's actually not making any awkward movements that would want to throw me off the helm. So that's good. I'm sitting at 39 knots there. And you've definitely got plenty of power in reserve to do that. Fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go from here, but hopefully this is giving you a really good demonstration or understanding of what this hull can do. My feedback so far is that the landings are soft, the hull construction is tight, the tubes are displacing a lot of the water when we want them to. Obviously it's still a rib, so you're going to get a little bit of spray up and overboard, or on board, but it's not bad. Just cruising there 40 knots. You can see my fuel flow through camera 2. Really easy. So we'll take it from here around the corner and get you some sensible cruising to wide open throttle fuel flows and have some fun.
So guys, all the more reason to pay attention to where you are going. Apparently this boat in the background had a little whoopsie and went up on those rocks. They're raising it right now, but it was stuck up on those rocks. So that's a real bummer for all involved. That crane must have cost a mozza. Pay attention.
All right, so we found a relatively calm spot here and protected, and we did just see a beautiful Benetti that went up on the rocks, and they were actually hauling it out. I'm sure there's an interesting story to that, but we're going to use this opportunity now to talk about the fuel flows. As you can see, I've got it on single lever. There's 4 people on board. We've got over half a tank of fuel on board today, and camera 2 should show you the total fuel flow in litres on this screen just here. And you may also see the SOG and the revs RPM on this central screen, but I'm also going to call that out for you as well. Just cruising along with the twin V8 300 horsepowers at an easy 29 knots, 64 litres consumption. We'll bump that speed up a little bit. I'll start playing with the trim as well. So this first run, we're just going to go conservatively, and then the second run, we might actually speed the boat up a little bit more. So I'm going to cut into a turn now, just banking through, and we'll do a harder one on the second turn, coming through at 3,900 RPM, 86 litres consumption. Visibility's excellent. Wind vortices are to here for me right now, but as I noticed sitting on the back seat, you will have some wind on you if you sit on that back seat, and obviously on the aft seats. So for the girls, get those hair things that tie up like that. I don't remember the name of those. That'll be useful for you. And bring a jacket, depending on what season you're in. Just going to cut through at 3,900 and speed her up. I see something in the water, and we're going to avoid that, whatever that is. I think it's a burn, not a problem. 4,300 RPM, 97 litres consumption, 43 knots. Still just going conservatively. We'll hit the next one at a slightly higher speed. So you can remain relatively calm at the helm of these boats because the hull's so lovely. It is looking after you at all of these different speed ranges. So as we just discovered in the waves, she's quite a soft landing thing. She's quite a capable thing, and she will disperse a lot of the big waves thanks to the tubes and thanks to the Dynastream hull. We will get an opportunity at some point today to get this boat out of the water and show you that hull, because it's quite important, and I think a point of difference compared to some of the other boats that you might be considering in this category. 4,400 RPM, going to cut through at a slightly higher rate of speed now. 47 knots. Fuel consumption is over the 100 litres. We're sitting at about 145 there. Comfortable, directional stability is good. I'm using this footrest to really plant myself in. I'm putting pressure on the seat so I feel quite controlled, and I can also spread my legs a little bit, and I've got 2 footrests depending on your body type and the length of your legs, so you can adjust the comfort to suit you. This next turn, we'll cut in and we'll do a full speed turn, but we're cruising at 50 knots, guys. Cruising at 50 knots. You can see with good trim, the fuel flow goes down to that 120 litre approximately. That's both motors on these 300s. I see something in the water there. I'll stay out of the way. 4,800. Just going to do a good little lookout because we did see some sea turtles in the water today. Coming through at 45, and let's increase our speed to 50. And now let's go full wide open throttle. 50 knots, 5,200 RPM. Let's increase that speed as we come through the turn. A little bit of a trim up. 5,600 RPM. My guests are happy. Everyone's got a grab hold should they need. One there, two back there. Wide open throttle, 5,800. Might do a little trim up. 188 litres RPM for fuel consumption, sorry. Let's see 6,000. I'm seeing 65 knots. This thing rips. Remember, you can do twin 400s should you need to. That is a lot of capability with a couple of 300s. So I think questions you need to ask yourself, are you going to be driving around with 9 or 10 people on the boat, or are you going to be driving around by yourself or with 4? Because for many people, that's more than enough speed. Fantastic. So from this location, we'll zip around the corner again and we'll put the boat in the marina and explain to you how the anchor operation works as well. So we'll do some close quarters maneuvering and anchor operation before we wrap it up. Okay, so we're just heading back into the marina, guys, and I'm operating the transverse thrust, of which it works perfectly fine. So that's pretty simple. We do have a bow thruster. I've turned it on, and I always like to do a little reset before I get to my final destination, just because they generally have a timer set on them. So you just want the bow thruster to be not timing out when you get to your final destination. I think we're going to have a wall, because this boat it lives on a trailer. So I think we're going to have a wall down the end where we can just do a little touch and go to give you a little demonstration of the boat's close quarters maneuverability. We have got the fenders deployed on port because we are heading back to the same location. Got a nice little side slip wind blowing me from starboard to port. Probably 10 knots in the marina right now with gusts to 12, 15 maybe, but I'd say it'll be less as we get in. And yeah, just taking it slow and steady. I've taken the throttles out of single lever. You want to make sure when you're going from your fast mindset out in the open water to your slow mindset, do a little bit of a reset. It's a nice mental reset, but it's also an actual reset. So when you're driving fast, your situational awareness is going to be out wide and on the horizon, because targets will close on you at a very high speed. So if another boat's coming at you at 50 knots and you're doing 50 knots, that's a fast closing speed. But when you're at the marina, your situational awareness should be close and around you. So right now I'm looking out for activity on other boats, people potentially leaving their berth, in which case I might need to stop or maneuver. We've obviously prepared our fenders, we've prepared the lines, and you just sort of get into the slow and steady mindset, and it literally is a mindset shift. I'll turn my glasses on. This might be handy for some of you, for some Dan cam. Yeah, it literally is a mindset shift of bringing your situational awareness from wide down into close quarters, and then you can start to, when you reach your final destination, you can start to do things like in gear and out of gear, or one engine at a time. One engine at a time, like that. So every new boat, like just me just then, is different. So the angle of the throttle base just there, because I've only driven this boat today, I wasn't used to, so you might have just noticed I popped it into reverse. So you want to practice all these things out in the open before you discover it in at the marina, because every single boat is going to have slightly different ergonomics to another one, and it helps to do that. So all we'll do, we've actually got blow-on conditions, so it's going to be pretty simple. I'll turn that camera back on again, so it might be useful for you. Got the bow thruster, got the fenders. I'm just walking it in now. One engine in and out of gear. and I'll slow my rate of turn pretty soon. I'm just going to get the boat parallel, watching the transom. Okay, bit of forward movement there. And this is where I can actually start to side slip the boat. The wind is actually doing everything for me now. Normally I might actually incorporate a little bit of bow thruster here, but we've got wind just taking us in nice and gently. But what I will do is stay at the helm. There we go, because you will often get with fenders a bounce back. So if you need to be ready to control it, if you get a bit of a bounce back, you might need to control it with the throttle and or settle it down with the bow thruster. But that was pretty simple. Okay, we've got an opportunity to show you the boat out of the water. So I thought, why not? Because this is a really cool and interesting hull design in that, look at all this beautiful cutting action. That's what was parting the waves when we were out there in that big stuff earlier in the video. And we're taking that V all the way back. So this is what's producing the soft landings. We can see the water is being displaced here and here, and that's what you can see in some of the drone shots when we're going through some of those big waves. It's just working for us. I like having this distance from the waterline because it allows us to cut into some more waves. The anchoring system is beautifully done just here. That's very, very elegant. And then you can also see some of the outlets, they're all stainless, but this is actually a towing point. So that's allowing you to hook it up and tow it, not with your car, it's behind your big boat, just so you know. Yes, it's on a trailer, so that's also possible, depending where you are in the world. But just making our way back and just seeing this nice deep V carrying itself all the way down the middle of the boat. And we got the first air step and the second air step just here. So that's just breaking the wetted surface, and that's introducing air, which then creates bubbles below the boat, and then that reduces drag and therefore fuel consumption. So that's really, really good to see. And we still have lots and lots of V at the back of the boat. For those of you who want to get airborne, which I know is going to be of interest to some of you. So I love the construction. As you can see, there's lots of activity going on behind me. These guys are busy. There's so many boats in production being prepared for the, I guess now it's the end of the European season, but I've heard next season on some models are already booked out or sold, so to speak. So that's really interesting. Engine options for you guys to consider. I think that is going to be one of the main questions that you need to have with yourself and then with your dealer if you're ordering a GTX. It's what mission are you going to apply to the boat and then work backwards from there. This is absolutely a driver's boat. This thing is a lot of fun and it potentially has to be tamed if you go for the max horsepower, but it's also quite sensible. We saw that in those waves. It's in no way made me feel uncomfortable to run hard and fast through big waves, okay? So take that for what it is, because not every boat will give you that confidence. And with these 300s, we still got really, really healthy speed. So you need to ask yourself, and I think the answer to this will be, if you're gonna run a boat like this with lots and lots of friends, so if you're gonna load the boat up to its maximum weight capacity with bodies, then maybe you will want extra horsepower to cruise at a lower revs and move those people. If you're just looking for fun, and if you're just looking for an enjoyable ride, these engines are fine. We just did it. It's heaps of fun. You can cruise around at 50 knots with 4 people on board and plenty of gear. But your options, I've got it written down. We've got twin Mercury 400Rs. You can do the twin Mercury 400 V10s, and you can also do the 350 V10s, also from Mercury. These are the 300 V8s. And then you can even do 225 V6s, the Yamaha 350 V6s, and the Yamaha 300 V6s. So that's A lot of possibilities, a lot of horsepower for a boat that's only a little over 3,000 kgs, 3 tons, for those of you that don't do the kilograms. So that's a lot of fun. Questions for you, and what should you compare it with? Definitely are the high performance ribs. It's in that category, but it's got a lot of luxury. Questions for you, do you want to sleep on board the boat that you're wanting to buy? Because that's not what this one is all about. So if that's an important, or that's a consideration, then perhaps look at the Alpha series, because this one's got a toilet, sun lounging. Yes, we've got the little pop-up tent type arrangement, but that may or may not be suitable for you. So just ask yourself those questions, and then hopefully with that information you can go to your dealer or talk to the guys here at the factory, and they can help you with what specification or what options suit you best. Have fun. I'll see you in the next video.